Hello, welcome back to Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion for part 3 of the Lombardy campaign. In this part we're going to be expanding probably actually into Central Europe for the first time. We have a pretty decent force built up here now, and I think we can probably actually at least go for these towns. There is a risk that it's going to provoke war with our neighbours, but I think we're pretty much out of other options when it comes to safe expansion, so we should at least go for the nearby rebel settlements. Hopefully some of the hordes we would have had to deal with will have moved on now, and we won't have to worry too much about them. Here we have a force consisting of a chosen warlord. That's kind of unfortunate, but other than that it's mostly infantry, so if we take them on with a small force of archers, a couple of units of spear warband just to hold the line against the general. This should be in our favour. There could be some nasty losses, but we should definitely clear this guy out so we can open up some trade with the Saxons. It looks like we are already trading with the Saxons, but of course all the rebels have to do is take a small step to the north and they can block off our trade. So let's get them out of the way now. Okay, we start off on a really nice hill, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to draw them towards us, I don't think. Actually, they're coming towards us. I suppose because we have range superiority that's enough for them to consider doing so, but no, it does look like they've stopped now, which is fine. I'll try going here, and most likely we'll lure them towards us by doing so. But if we can surround that chosen warlord with our 3 units of cavalry, ideally our spearmen too, we should be able to rout him before he does any real damage. We fight him out in drawn, hand-to-hand combat, that's going to be a lot worse. But it looks like they are going to come towards us, so let's have these guys stop and begin firing. Send these 2 to fight this, and this unit to go for these. So we're not going to be able to get off too many volleys before they come to attack us, but should be able to hit them from behind and hopefully rout them pretty quickly once they engage with our infantry. These guys should be running. I'm amazed that none of them died there. These guys should also be running. I have no idea what they're thinking. As, peasants should be fairly easy to rout, even with just a lone unit of spearmen. Fighting them from uphill, which is going to help. We can see the numbers dropping pretty quickly there off the spear warband, as there's a little bit of a risk here. So let's send in our leader, as looks like another unit to join the fray. And the warlord is attacking our very weak barbarian cavalry, which is actually very concerning. The warlord charges some spears from the front. I'm amazed we got away with that, and I'm amazed we also managed to kind of fight off the chosen warlord. He should just be taking the fight because that's not in our favour at all. Okay, that could have been very messy. I'm kind of amazed that it didn't go worse, but that's good. That's going to open all that stuff up. And most of these units we will be able to retrain. Not the barbarian cav, but the rest we can retrain in our capital. And we should have a pretty decent force ready to take the next rebel settlement, including Lombardi Berserkers. I think I trained some Lombardi Berserkers, I'm pretty sure I did. And those are lots of fun. That'll do, I think.
Victory is the reward of...
Okay, we have got to leave a few units in the town just to keep them happy, or I can drop the tax rate, which probably does make sense. I'm going to recruit a spear warband here, just because they're pretty good when it comes to maintaining public order. And then to the south, in Campus Lombardi, we do indeed have 1 unit of Lombard Berserkers, which we will be bringing with us. Can recruit a mercenary Sarmatian archer unit, or some mercenary golden band. A lot of good stuff available, but we do have to make a bit more money first. Still, things are shaping up pretty well. It's a little bit dangerous here with the Vandals. I am hoping they'll just move on. We do still have a few other units we can move around, so the Roxolani here are not moving too much. I do need to keep an eye on them. And then we should have a second spy over in Dacia. We're not really going to do too much with this guy, but we will keep an eye on the situation with the Huns and the Goths. Specifically, the Goths are almost certainly going to horde up within the next few turns, and they could go towards us, but It's more likely that they're going to move towards Italy and cause some bother for the Western Roman Empire. This is one of the reasons we've not expanded already to the lands of the Western Roman Empire, because they are just going to get torn to pieces potentially, and we might as well pick them off once they've been weakened a little bit by all the hordes. And that just leaves a diplomat in Tribus Alemanni. Just going to look for a few settlements really. I'm not really going to be doing anything particularly special with our diplomats now. We have opened up trade rights with most rival factions, so realistically that's probably all we can do. Let's end the turn. I forgot to change the tax rate of Campus Burgundii, but it looks like they're not too unhappy as the Saxons are beginning to bribe us. Okay, that changes things. That means they're actively considering war. So we can't really trust them. I'm surprised because they are of course at war with the Franks right now. I don't really want to expand in that direction. It makes much more sense to expand to the south. But if that's what we have to do, then we'll do it. Okay, they've also announced an alliance with the Western Roman Empire. That's also bad news because they could definitely work together against us. Okay. On the upside, Vicus Vandali appears to be mostly safe. The Vandals are closer to it than ever, but hopefully they're just passing through. I'm going to recruit another unit of Spear Warband just in the hopes of putting them off a little bit. And I'm going to go for land clearance. If they do come and attack, then our faction leader will be killed, but I think that's a risk I'm willing to take. I will just follow them with my diplomat. And he'll turn to face him. Okay. That's fine. They have to settle at some point. Marriage celebrations for Rando and Eva, that's our faction leader. I wasn't sure, or I didn't realize he was unmarried. I don't think that affects too much though. Can't imagine he'd be having kids at his age. And we do need to see exactly what's going on in that rebel settlement, so we know how many units are up against. So there are 5 units, we don't know what. But most of our forces do now arrive in the capital. I should have been a bit more cautious there because some of these units are going to be able to move a long way and others are not. So I will just quickly sort this out. Okay, it turns out it's completely open, so we're going to go ahead and recruit a unit of mercenary Sarmatians. And we're going to send as many of these out as we can. They should all be able to reach it next turn, I think. Perhaps not. Okay, so we do need to leave the town. Public order drops, but that's fine. We can just adjust the tax rate and that solves that problem. This town, likewise, I think we do need to correct the tax rate just to prevent problems. And over in Campus Barbaricum, we can potentially save up for mines. I think that's the best option. Until the Slavs show up, that's going to be a really nice money spinner for us. Otherwise, we just have our agents who are kind of at the end of their useful life in a way, but we'll continue to send them around just to discover settlements and things. This direction is obviously pretty fruitless, but I think there'll be another one in this kind of area. Our other diplomat is getting better and better. I'm not sure why. He's just standing around, but he seems to be improving massively. So I could keep milking the Vandals for alliances and money and things like that, but like I said in the previous part, I'm not going to do that. Even though they're not going to attack us this time, so it would just be a final alliance. I don't think they'll betray us again. I think we will just leave that be. And I'm going to continue watching this like a hawk, because big things are definitely about to happen there. So the Vandals definitely appear to be leaving our lands, which is great. Saxons still bribing us, and this is a little bit risky because we do have fewer units there now. As long as we leave a family member in there, that should be enough to stop the bribe from going ahead. Huns moving in our direction, slightly concerning. If we're really lucky, they'll meet the Vandals and to a large extent wipe each other out. Still not exactly sure why they've not made a more serious effort to take down Colonia Dacia there. Campus Burgundii has expanded. Okay, that's probably going to force us to spend our money on the Great Hall. so probably hold back on spending for now. Ah, that's really annoying. I guess we're not allies with them anymore. Presumably they still have their main town, which yes they do. So if we go to war with them, it's not a huge deal.
Orders?
They're probably going to get destroyed by the Saxons. And it's possible that the Saxons and the Western Roman Empire will end up going to war with each other before the Saxons betray us, because I know the Saxons are probably going to betray us. I think I will just go for this attack, even though it results in war with the Franks. It's still pretty much the obvious direction for us to expand into, so let's just go for it. Don't know exactly what they have here. They've got raiders, whatever they are, but that's not really too telling.
Lord?
I do have some other units I can send over. So this is fairly solid. I'm still pretty tempted to go for some golden band, just to make it that a little bit safer, but we should definitely save our money for the Great Hall, so let's just assault. And so, wow, okay, they've got to be pretty elite. Okay, so 3 different family members. We do have range superiority, so if we can just form a nice bank with our spear warbands, we might be able to take them down. But very threatening indeed. Okay, so at the front they've just got some levy spearmen. They're in range of at least one of our stacks too, and we can definitely harass them with our new mercenaries. They're taking a few shots. They seem to be tanking them fairly well so far, but they are going to go down for sure. In the middle they've got their, I assume these are their raiders. And they must have some more, so there we go. Here are the various warlords, all kind of banked together right now. That's fine, I think we can handle them if they all arrive at the same time. We are massively the favourites here. And these guys are going to drop and quickly flee. If I switch to flaming ammo, they will probably just rout, but there we go, they've broken either way. So I could just chase them down with our cab, but I think we should be okay in terms of ammo. I'm not sure why we took losses here, potentially some friendly fire. Here are our berserkers. They just appear to be just these massive topless men. They're just going to be stood behind our spear warband. I don't think this particular fight is going to involve them very much because we're mostly against cavalry and they are definitely best against infantry. But it's time now, I think, to press on towards the centre of the town. And we're just going to array ourselves in a similar way to how we are now. This is probably not quite ambitious enough, but let's take it one step at a time. And in fact, I can probably draw them out right now using our summations. They don't have any ranged units, so pretty safe to do this in theory. As always, a little bit risky when you're going into these narrow streets, which are obviously quite wide streets, but the game doesn't seem to know that. Sometimes skirmish mode can screw you over, but we'll keep an eye on it and see how it goes. As we do begin to fire. They will wake up pretty quickly. Here they have the Paladin Bodyguard, which is their unique unit. Similar to Age of Empires in a lot of ways, the Paladins of the Franks are an extremely strong cavalry unit, as they do appear now to be charging us down. Let's hope that we can actually get away. Always a bit risky, but if we can, we do have a very strong front line to defend ourselves with. So looks like we might just about make it, touch wood. Hopefully they will come all the way to attack us, as our other archers are now beginning to fire on them. We need them to actually hit our main units, as they do appear to be going around the side. This is their leader. I think I might just go ahead and charge into them, as it looks like we will be able to catch them with the spearmen, so we can probably make this work. And if we can get them, then of course we will drop their morale. Taking heavy losses, but when our general comes in here, it's going to make a big difference, and they're going to break very quickly indeed. But they're trapped. Surely we'll get the kill.
Any of our warriors would die rather than run.
Pretty shocking that he got out of that, but fine, we've managed to massively weaken him, and we'll just pull back. That's one of the 3 down. There's still a couple more units of Warlord to worry about, but we can probably draw them out in the exact same way. Okay, they have actually got archers in the form of hunters. If I recall correctly, they're a pretty weak archer unit, but still have to be pretty careful at this difficulty. Might be able to isolate them. It's a little bit risky right now. There's so many cavalry units there. Can potentially use our warlord for that though, if they do isolate themselves. And in fact, I feel like we can probably get away with this. Let's have a go. I trust the warlord's maneuverability a little bit more than the other units. They are starting to approach a little bit, but I think we will be able to get out of there before anything too terrible happens to us. So they haven't broken yet, but here they come. Tempted to get out of there. Hopefully that's not the leader right there, trapped. Doesn't look like it. I think it's just a normal bodyguard unit, but here we go. I think we're about to find ourselves in close combat with the next couple of generals. I haven't got a great block here with my spearmen. Should probably have done a bit better there, but this is massively in our favor again. And just bring in what we have. There are two different units there, so it's a little bit risky, and our numbers are dropping pretty rapidly. I could even bring in the berserkers, but one of them is the very weakened general who is about to be killed. Surely this time we'll get him. Yeah, we do. And the next unit will probably break pretty quickly. We have lost quite a few units on our chosen warlord, so got to be a little bit more risk averse with him from now on. Down to their last 9, but hunters once again looking very isolated. I think we just want to try and charge them. This is potentially our general's last action of the fight. As yeah, we are taking a few losses from their shots, but should break them very quickly here. And just need to look out because they do still have one more unit of bodyguard, and then the raiders, who I think are pretty weak. Surprised they're not coming to fight us. I guess they've realized it's completely hopeless for their hunters, and they're going to back off. Let's try and kill off as many as we can, because they can still pick us off pretty quickly if they want to. And I think we have risked that more than enough, so we're going to leave. If they do catch up to us, which somehow has happened, I don't know how that happens sometimes, but if they do catch up to us, it's massively against us, and it's very unlikely that we stand much of a chance at all. This time round, let's try and bank these up together nice and quick, and let's try and shoot them as much as we can. Right, let's charge them with everything we have. Take the general out, ideally. Tempted to charge the mercenaries in because they would help, even hand to hand in this situation, but obviously we can't replenish them, so I'm going to play it safe with them, as we have routed that next unit. Still got the raiders, but range superiority is massively ours now, so I think we should be good just to push. So yeah, take out the hunters very quickly indeed. The general's bodyguard could still, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did some serious damage to our archers if they caught them out alone, so I'm still going to bring our barbarian cav at least up to help defend. If the raiders come for us as well, that could be an issue, so let's actually bring everyone up, as we are showering arrows upon them, but they're not exactly dropping fast. We can ultimately get the chosen archer unit, which is a lot stronger. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I think they might have jammed each other up. So let's place these in front. Hopefully that'll loosen things up a bit. I can hear arrows being fired, but the numbers are not going down at all, so I have no idea what's going on. Let's see, hopefully they now have enough space. Okay. Looks like they're going after that final soldier there, as this is actually pretty bad. Yeah, I'm not at all surprised that they managed to get caught out there, unfortunately. But fine, I think at this point our spearmen can probably handle the rest. Let's just charge them in. Raiders are surely fairly weak as cavalry units go, so we did lose a unit of archers, but that's fine, we can retrain them. That wasn't so bad in the end. Taking out quite a few of their family members, and presumably the Saxons will finish them off, but we definitely need to keep a close eye on that now, because we are now properly at war with them. This is very close to our main settlement, so we're going to occupy. And I think for the first time, we're going to accept the shrine to Donar and start recruiting some actual berserkers, which are going to be very helpful, especially against the Saxons, who are a very infantry-heavy faction. Let's bump these up to a very high tax rate, repair the trader, and it's a little bit risky for Campus Lombardi right now. We do need to send a few units back if we can.
Yes, Chief.
But I think we can do that next turn. War with the Franks, as we know. Campus Lombardi has also expanded. Okay, so we need to really try and save our money for a little while. As I can see there is a Frankish assassin there, and I think we do need to get our own assassin just to deal with that, as well as sending one of our spies back. So not this guy, he's doing something too important, but kind of both of our spies are doing important things, because although these Huns don't appear to be headed towards Vicus Vandali, it's still a little bit unclear what they're doing. We need to be a bit careful. Still, I think this is the obvious candidate to go back to the town. And we're going to need him just to keep an eye on the assassin, so that we can take him out with our assassin, our own assassin. And this guy as usual. Oh, we're still at war with them, I didn't even realise that. Well, surely they'll now accept the ceasefire. There we go. And I don't know if I want an alliance with them, although they're very scary right now. Of course, they are a horde, so once they settle, they might not be very scary at all. I will go and get trade rights with these guys. I'm not going to try and get money off them. And could potentially get an alliance with them too. I'm not sure that's actually going to stave them off if they decide to attack us, but we've probably expanded about as far east as we want to. I don't think we'll go much further. So that is a potential option.
Lord. My lord?
This guy is just going to, I think, go and keep an eye on the Frankish capital.
Yes, master. Unable to move.
Since we don't have too many spare spies right now.
At your service.
And I think the rest are all fine. I know we have a few soldiers up in Campus Barbaricum, which ideally we'd take out at some point, but I don't think now's the time, so let's end the turn. See what happens. I think that was the Saxons attempting to bribe us again, as yeah, they're actually in our lands now, so it could not be more obvious that they're about to attack us. Pretty shocking, really, because they're still at war with the Franks, and they're just gonna let them go and attack us instead. I'm not sure there's much we can do about that. I wouldn't be surprised if the Alemanni here are coming to attack us too, with a fairly strong force of their own. Definitely have to keep an eye on all that. But over in this town, we do just need to I'm not sure we can stop this. If we immediately send all of these units to the north, it's possible. But I think he would reach Campus Burgundii before we do. Still, I think we've got to do it.
Orders. Orders. General.
So this is not going to be good for public order because I'm not going for the Great Hall.
General.
Can't leave the Berserkers behind. Yeah, I'm not going for the Great Hall, so public order is going to get worse and worse. But, you know, it could not be more obvious that they're about to attack us, so I'm going to have to deal with that situation.
Orders. Yes.
I think Lombard archers should do pretty well against them too. I will leave a kind of token defense here, but
Chief.
it's not going to be much.
General.
As I can't actually retrain them. Okay, that's a little bit of an issue.
Chief. Orders.
Can recruit mercenaries. 2 units of Golden Band. should hold out reasonably well against this. He's got his own mercenaries, so you need to be a little bit careful because as soon as he shows up, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up recruiting them for himself. So if nothing else, just to stop this guy from getting them, we're going to recruit them. And we're going to send them separately to the north. Which leaves us with no money for the assassin we wanted. Unless we destroy a building over in Campus Marcomanni. But like I said, I'm fairly happy to keep the shrine to Donar. However, over in Vicus Vandali there is the shrine to Pape, which is a nomad religion. So we can get rid of that. And I think it's 500 for an assassin, so that's still not enough. Yeah. Okay, that would let us get a spy. And I think there is a good argument for getting a spy as well. Although we do need more units in general. We're not actually recruiting anything in Campus Burgundiae yet. In fact, as useful as it is to have something like that, we do just need some extra defense over in Campus Burgundiae. The Goths, as expected, are now in flight. So I'm not sure where exactly they're going to go, but the Huns have taken their town. And we should probably figure out exactly what's going on with the Goths. It looks like they're mostly towards the south, so hopefully won't come and disturb us. But yeah, Barbarian invasion is just chaos. It's really hard to know what's safe and what isn't. But I think we need to be prepared at all times to be betrayed from any direction, because that is just how it is. These guys haven't fought each other by the looks of it, but I think they will.
My lord? Yes, master.
I'm just going to leave the diplomat here and send the spy to the west, where he's going to be much more useful.
On my way.
And
awaiting your command.
That's pretty much all we can do.
Prepare to ambush.
So Saxon's still going for the bribes. This guy actually separates himself from the rest to come and attack us, but we are of course just going to withdraw, hopefully into the town, but no, looks like we haven't quite made it. However, he doesn't manage to attack us, so that's fine. Okay, so now they're actually asking us for an alliance, and this is where I attempt to rip them off. Offer them map information. And I'm going to ask them for... This might really rile them up. It's probably too much. Oh my god, I could have gone even further. Okay, that's really important though, because we can now recruit a lot of different types of units. This guy is just way too old. I think this Edelgun person is probably extremely old herself. To be honest, given that we're about to be attacked from multiple directions, potentially, we will actually accept him. Where is he? Don't be in one of the eastern provinces. Yeah, he is. Okay, that was kind of a letdown. I could just go waste him. I might actually go and waste him because he's just not really doing anything on his own. Actually, you know what? We'll send him with a few units of cav, and we're just going to do as much damage as we can, whittle these down. Okay, so they've got steppe horse archers of their own. Lots of steppe raiders. In fact, looks like they are entirely ranged units. So our leader here could actually do some damage. I don't think alone he could take them all out, but we'll certainly have a go. Honestly, these guys are going to be better off just going into melee combat. We will lose them all, but we're going to lose them all anyway. Clearly, this is not the type of fight where trying to fight with archers is going to work in our favour. So let's just accept the loss of them. We're going to lose lots of money, but... I mean, we're not going to lose money. We're going to lose lots of soldiers, but it will save us money ultimately, as we are routing immediately. Raiders are pretty good in hand-to-hand combat, and if they're not going to try and run from us, then there's not a lot we can do. But at least we're weakening them, and most of these units are not too important.
The warlord of the enemy army is running like
That's a good sign.
Goat. Hunt him. Goats make good eating.
We can just break these guys, which could happen. Then the fact that we're not really a big threat here might not matter too much. Let's Try and hit these. Down to our last 9. It's not looking good. Hit them from both sides. You'd hope that'd be enough. Looks like they have actually held out and may in fact defeat us, but no, have eventually managed to rout them. And this might be the final unit, although I think there might be one more hidden in the trees. Don't think we'll be able to rout these.
Your warlord is a cowardly old woman, not concerned with dying like a warrior. Your warlord has gone to his ancestors.
That's fine, I literally did not want him.
His guiding hand, the fool.
I'm going to withdraw these because they're potentially okay. Summations, a little bit better than the Allen Horse Archers. So, better than nothing. We will try to preserve what we have left. Although, while we're here, let's finish these off. And then we will just leave the field with what little we have. Okay, so they're still left over, but they are much weaker than they were. They have a couple of units left. I think that's fairly acceptable, to be honest. So let's return the few units we have to the town if they make it without dying. Heroic death for our new man who we didn't want. That's fine, that's all worth it in the end. Theodoric and Edelgund, yeah, it ended pretty tragically for them. That was actually really cruel from me, to be honest. Lore-wise, that was not a proud moment for my faction and our righteousness. The Vandals are at war with the Huns, that's a good sign. Lost war with Sarmatians, that's all fine. So the Franks and the Saxons are now allies, which means they've got a ceasefire with us as well. Okay. Oh, the Franks have given up their sovereignty and given themselves over to the Saxons. Okay, that's probably not good. We are going to have to fight the Saxons, unfortunately. Doesn't appear to be any alternative to that, but we do have loads of money now, so we can get the assassin that we wanted. We can also start getting the Great Hall. Although in this particular town I'm going to try and build the stockade if we can. And we are about to be hit by the Saxon family member. So we have one final unit we can recruit, so let's just go with the best thing we can. I think most likely another unit of Spear Warband will at least be able to hold its own in the middle. We'll send in the Golden Band to also help hold the fort. And let's just take as many of these as we can to try and liberate our town. Might not work, but we send absolutely everything. Perhaps it'll be just enough. Don't want to leave this town completely open. It is also a bit of a border town. But I'm sure these attacked us. I don't know if I just dreamt that. I'm sure they attacked us with these. But we've gone back to being neutral without actually agreeing that with them. Yeah, we've been betrayed by them, but we're not at war. I'm a bit confused by that. Still, it's pretty much inevitable that they're going to attack us. Over in Campus Marcomanni. Let's try and keep this safe if we can. I think we do need some kind of muster field so we can get a few spear warbands, as we do have a few, I guess. So those should be able to help hold things down along with a couple of berserkers. Yeah, so we will go for the stockade first. Might get a few more kills from the watchtowers. Vicus Vandali, let's try and prioritize things that are going to earn us money, so let's get roads first. I'm not completely sure where I'm going to go in terms of the shrines there, but most likely we'll go for Frigg again just for the extra income. Wooden Palisade over here would not go amiss, but I think right now we need to prioritize our other towns. If I could recruit cavalry units from here, I could probably send them back. Unfortunately, those towns are a little bit isolated, so it's pretty hard to actually involve them in the reinforcement. I'm not actually sure we can win the fight just with these. We do really need to retrain.
Yes.
I don't think there's any way we can stop him from reaching us. We don't have a family member, so we can't drop a fort.
General.
This guy on his own
Yes.
can't get far enough to block the path. Yeah, so I think we're going to find ourselves besieged. And then our forces are pretty split.
Yes.
So kind of hard to make that work. I could go and attack Campus Shatti. It's not too strongly defended. It's 3 units. But again, we just need more units in general right now. We just don't have the forces to do it. I'm going to try and send these back too. They're not going to make too much of a difference to public order. And that's probably it for now. Probably worth just saving the money for the mines, if anything, in Campus Barbaricum. And Vicus Vandalia is already busy, so let's just check the agents we have. That was a mistake actually, we did have our diplomat here to keep an eye on the Vandals. Good news is the Vandals are going south, so we don't really need to worry about them anymore. And then we have a spy in Dacia who could attempt to discover the Goths, but I don't think we will. There's a pretty large force of the Western Roman Empire here as well, so don't be surprised if they betray us too. So it's looking pretty dangerous all around. But obviously they have to take this settlement first before they come for us. Otherwise we don't really have any direct border with them, so hopefully we can handle the Saxons first. I was really hoping we could have an awesome brotherhood with the Saxons and leave them to expand in the west while we focus on the east, but clearly they were intent on betraying us, so we just have to accept that. The Franks want an alliance with us now. If they're willing to forgive me taking that town from them, I'm not sure they have much money. They might just literally have no money, so I'm just going to accept this. Your answer is acceptable, okay. Still bribing us. Oh no, they want trade rights. So, I think this is just the precursor to them attacking. Let's see if we can take their money. Even though they've just done this, it's not going to stop them from attacking us. There's, yeah, there we go.
We're besieged.
They've joined up into one big doom stack. I don't think I can recruit any extra mercenaries to help me out. So, that's not too good, but there is a candidate for adoption with Rando. This is probably over in the east as well, which is where Rando is. He's the garrison commander. I'm going to accept him, because I think maybe he'll pop up somewhere else, as he has actually popped up. Where is this? Yeah, in Vandalia once again. Okay, that's not ideal, but we'll keep him for now. He's pretty young at least, unlike the other general. So these guys are probably not going to get there soon enough to make a difference. So if we hit this guy in the back, he's already got extremely well upgraded. Levy spearmen, hunters. Yeah, he's pretty strong all around. That's a bit tough. I could just go to the west and hit Campus Shatti. Just do a bit of a town swap. Might be able to pull them away. We're taking as many kills as we can when he does attack.
General.
I think that could be worth doing. If we try to hit him in the back, I think there's a serious risk that we just lose.
Yes.
But we're going to have to do something about this. I think what I'm most likely going to do... Oh wow, the Franks betrayed us immediately, didn't want to back us in the war. That's all a bad sign. The Western Roman Empire, having just paid for that alliance, have given up on it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this part here. It's going to be a fairly short part, but that's fine. We'll be able to continue it pretty soon, I'm sure. And I'll make a decision about how we're going to handle this Saxon situation. And yeah, we will pull through, but it's going to be a little bit painful. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.